Hello, good evening. Welcome everybody to another Facebook Live in our third annual Facebook Live summer series. It's Jen Bengal here from Out of This World Literacy. I'm excited that you're joining me. If you're watching live, say hello in the comment section. Let me know where you're from and maybe what grade you teach. If you're watching as a replay, you can also leave a comment too. That's what's so great about Facebook Live is you can always leave a comment or watch a replay and still see all the great information. Today, I'm going to be talking about a reader's notebook, and I actually have a reader's notebook right here. So I'm going to go through the reader's notebook and how I set up my reader's notebook for the year. But before I do, I'm just going to give everybody just a second to hop on because I know a lot of people like to watch me live and I don't want to get started too quickly. It always takes just a minute. Hi, Catherine. Hello, Rebecca. Hi, Jessica. Welcome to tonight's live. As you're just joining me, I wanted to tell you there's a really great conversation going on right now in my curriculum group. I'm not sure if you're in my curriculum group or not. It's a closed Facebook group. You can ask to be added at any time, but I'm doing a giveaway every week in my Facebook group, my closed group, and there's this amazing conversation that teachers are having right now. They've been talking about their favorite game changers that they did this last year, like little silly things that made a huge difference in the classroom. Things like their tricks for not losing pencils and keeping everything organized. So I have this amazing thread of comments going on. And I think I'm going to start taking some of those ideas and sharing them and shouting out all the amazing teachers because I feel like so many people would love these ideas. They're just like these little aha things that are happening in the curriculum group. So if you're in there, go read that thread. It's amazing. Hi, Priscilla. Hi, Jennifer. Hello, Liz and Sharon. Good to see you too, Sharon. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Jacqueline. Hi, Lisa. Awesome. Everybody's hopping on. So I think I give everybody a few minutes to get on. Tonight's topic is all about the reader's notebook, which I have one in front of me right now. When I set up reader's notebooks, I love reader's notebooks. So we put a lot in there. There's great benefits to having reader's notebooks. Not only does the lesson that you do each day stay all year long, but it also stays beyond the year. And you can reference those lessons all year. So if you teach something in reading workshop and you want to take the kids back to that idea, you can do it at any time in the year with a reader's notebook. You can also keep all the learning in one spot. Kids don't lose papers as much, and there's not a lot of copying that you have to do when you use a reader's notebook as well. So let me show you inside a reader's notebook that I would recommend. I usually have 4 sections of my reader's notebook. Now, if you want it to last all year, because reading is a big topic, you might want to invest in 3 subject notebooks. I know they can get a little pricey, so if you can't get your hands on a 3 subject notebook for every student, then definitely you're probably going to need another one around January sometime. So you can do a 1 subject notebook, but you'll probably need 2 to get you through the year for your kids. And then these extra strong tabs, I don't know if you can hear them. Can you hear that? They're really strong. They don't fall off like at all. Watch me say that and watch this fall off. It's not going to though. See? It's like stuck right there. I'm not a magician. This is like real life. So get the extra strong, durable tabs. They won't fall off the notebooks. Just a little pro tip there for you. The first section of the notebook I call books I've read. Can you see that right there? It says books I've read. I don't know if you can see that, but in that section is just the first couple pages in the notebook, and I have them glue in a little chart like this, and it just has the title, the author, and the genre, and the date completed. This is any books that they're reading independently. Now, I don't have them write guided reading books in here. I don't have them write read aloud books that we do together in here. This is just for books that they read on their own. It can be picture books, it can be chapter books, but it's just for me to get an idea of what they're reading independently. So when I go conference with my kids, sometimes I'll have them pull their notebook out and open up to this section so I can keep up with them, making sure that they're keeping their list current. Also, when I collect the notebooks to take a grade, I'll take a look at this chart and make sure that they're up to date on the books that they're reading. Yes, Priscilla, the tabs are great. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Leanne, welcome. So that first section, another thing you can do in here that I don't have on here though, is you can actually, where it says date completed, you can actually train them to where if they don't complete the book, they can write an A for abandoned. And that way you can keep up with how many books they're actually starting and abandoning. So if you start to see a pattern of A's here, meaning they're not finishing a chapter book or a longer book, you can start thinking about how you can help them to finish more books or choose books that are more appropriate for them. So that's the books I've read section. I usually just use about 5 pages or so to get me through the year. And I use the fronts and backs of the notebook pages too, so I can utilize the most space that I have. And then the second section is, can you see that? It's mini lessons. So the second section is mini lessons. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Kaylee. Welcome. And in the mini lessons section, this is where the kids write down what we do in our whole group mini lesson, our workshop for the day. And they have all of our mini lessons for the year in one spot. I love showing these notebooks to parents at conferences because they can see all the learning that's happening. So here's an example of a student writing down the mini lesson statement, and then the student wrote down one example that we did in our class. So they have the date over here, and then they have the mini lesson statement, and then they have what we had on our anchor chart copied down. So whatever the book was, and then it looks like we were talking about strong emotions here. This must have been a personal narrative. Readers identify small moments full of emotion so that they can connect with the author's experiences. Okay, yes. And then they wrote down what emotion they found in the book that we read and how they made a connection. So you can have them do just one example from your whole group instruction in their notebook. I don't have them copy all of the examples we do in our mini lesson because I just don't want them writing that much down. Another thing you can do is if you don't want them to do a lot of writing in this section, which is the mini lesson section, you can have them glue in the mini lesson statements, and that will save time too. So if your kids are really slow writers and you don't want to spend too much time having them write, you can have them glue in the mini lesson statement or glue in other things too. That's the second section of the notebook. The third section of the notebook is, can you see that? It says reading responses. So reading responses is my third section. And you can see, well, my mini lessons, I have quite a bit of space here. I can fit probably 2 on one front and 2 on the back. So if you map out how long that is in your notebook, you can get that to work. But in the reading responses section, this is the time that the kids are going to actually respond to their reading in a written form. And it's going to mostly be their reading from independent time. So whatever they're reading independently, they can respond to that in this section. I usually have them spend about 5 minutes a day responding to something in their notebook. You can have them glue tons of different things into here, or you can have them try out responding just by writing something down and not having to print anything. So I have different things in here, like this one, they glued in a think mark, and they had to respond to their reading with a think mark. And so they read maybe for 15, 20 minutes that day, and then they responded in this section in their notebook. You can also have them glue in like little comprehension questions, and then they have to answer those with whatever book that they're reading that day. So you can train them to do that and glue in little cards like that. Or you can have them, here's another one that's just a bigger version. They can glue stuff in, or they can copy this question down. You can have them copy questions down and write in their notebooks, save a little bit of paper that way. Here's another example of something they had glued into their notebook and responded to. So the third section is really for them to respond to their reading in a written format, and then they share that at the end of the workshop. So at the end of the workshop, we bring our notebooks back to the carpet. Here's another example of something they put in their notebook during the responding to reading time. And then the last section of the notebook, and I have a big chunk of pages for that. The last section of the notebook is called reading letters. Does anyone do reading letters? This is an example of reading letters where the students and I are pen pals, and we write about the books that we're reading together back and forth. I love writing letters to my students because they get so excited when they're getting their notebook back and they know I wrote them a letter. And we have this written down communication between the two of us throughout the year. And they can take that home with them forever. And they'll always have these letters that we wrote back and forth to each other in their notebooks. And also it teaches them letter writing skills. So we will actually write letters back and forth to each other about books that we're reading. So the student said, "Dear Mrs. Bengal, I've been reading A Good Night for Ghosts. It's about these two kids named Jack and Annie. They're going on an adventure to make Louis Armstrong famous. They went back in time in their magic treehouse. Now they have to find Louis Armstrong and make him famous." Hey, Mrs. Bengal, I have a question. Didn't Louis Armstrong already get famous himself? Why does Jack and Annie have to help him? Sincerely, Grayson. And this is actually my son, Grayson, because we were writing letters back and forth. And so then I answered him, and I try and answer about 3 a day. I get a rotation. So I take like 3 notebooks a day. I don't take them all at once and have a stack of 30. I take like 3 notebooks a day. I'll look through it. I'll look through the reading logs. I'll look through their what they're responding to, and I'll write them a letter back. So I wrote back to Grayson, and you can, when you write back, give them kind of some ideas on how to think like a comprehender and challenge them a little bit. I said, "Dear Grayson, thanks for your letter. That sounds like a really great book, and I love your question. I agree with you that I think Louis Armstrong was famous without Jack and Annie's help. I think the author made up the story about Jack and Annie helping so that she could make the story exciting for the reader. I love when authors really think carefully about what their readers will enjoy. Don't you? Have fun reading the rest of your book. I can't wait to hear about it in your next letter. Sincerely, Mrs. Bengal." So then you just write letters back and forth. And if you do about 3 a day, it's like 15 minutes maybe out of my day. And I can do it during lunch, or I can do it while the kids are at a different special or enrichment, or I can do it at home. Before school, after school, it really is worth the 15 minutes. I know some people try it and then they just give up on it, but the kids, the value that it brings to them, it's incredible. And I know the parents love to see it too. Yes, Jackie said the kids love when you write back to them. This was something I added this past year. It's amazing. It's definitely a commitment. You definitely have a lot to do, but it's something that's well worth it. Let's see, Jackie said, "Do you stop them 5 minutes before the share so that they can respond, or do you just let them write at any point during the independent reading?" Great question, Jackie. I've gone back and forth. So I've had them given them the choice to write whenever they'd like, and then I've had it where everybody stops and they write. What I found was I came up with like kind of a balance. I told them that they can, if there's something they want to write about and they're in the middle of their reading, but they want to put it in their response, to go ahead and do it, because sometimes our brains forget. If you're like Mrs. Bengal, your brain kind of loses things if you don't write it down right away. So I do give them the freedom to go in and write it down right away. But I do also give them a 5-minute warning that we're about to share. So I might say something like, "Boys and girls, we're going to be starting our share in 5 minutes. If you haven't gotten anything in your notebook yet to respond to your reading, now's the time to get that notebook out, because you're going to be sharing with a partner and you're going to have that ready." And so then those of the kids who haven't written anything down yet usually get their notebooks out and they write down then. So giving them the choice is really my alternative that I came up with between them. So let me just quickly say, let's see. Sharon said, "I tried that. It's a really great tip. I wish I was more on top of things to keep up." Yes, 3 a day. And if you can only do 2, do 2. I mean, maybe you can only do 1 notebook a day. Do 1 notebook a day. And then if you have 30 students, then every 5 weeks or so, they're going to get a letter from you, or 6 weeks or so. That's still better than nothing if you can do 1 a day. So books I've read is the first tab. And then mini lessons, reading responses, and reading letters. That's your notebook. And again, if you don't have a 3-subject notebook, you can use a 1-subject, just space it out a little bit with less space, and know that you're probably going to need another notebook in January. Okay, so that is the Reader's Notebook. I'm excited because tomorrow, I believe my topic is to talk about a lesson that launches your Reader's Notebooks. So I'm going to show you exactly how I introduce Reader's Notebooks to my kids tomorrow. If you want to learn even more about reading and writing workshops, how I set up the notebooks in more detail, get more pictures, and see how I set up the classroom library, how I teach reading and writing workshops, I do have a webinar on that. It's coming up on June 30th. It's a live webinar. It's free to register for and show up. Once you register, you get an email sent to you, and then that gives you a special code to get into the webinar. It's totally free, and I would love for you to join if you've never been in a live webinar with me before. They're lots of fun. I currently have 13 live webinars that I have different registration dates for. I'm going to put a link in here for you to get to the webinars. There it is. And my newest one, I'm hosting live for the first time. Number 14 is on Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. I'm going to be doing a webinar about interactive read alouds. And if you're a lifetime member, I just recorded it today. So I'm hoping by the end of tomorrow to have that in your lifetime access. So lifetime members, within the next 24 to 36 hours, you're going to be getting access to watch the interactive read aloud webinar. Lifetime members, basically what that means is you have access to watch the webinars whenever you want. All of my webinars, you can stop the recordings, play them again. You have access to exclusive bonuses and discount codes and all kinds of good stuff. So if you want to know more about lifetime membership and you haven't been in there yet, then let me put that in here too. That's there. And I think that's all I have. Amy said she loves the lifetime access. Awesome. I'm so glad that you love it. And if you're a lifetime member too, make sure you get in that exclusive Facebook group for lifetime members too. You have a code for that when you get access to lifetime membership. So lifetime webinars, or if you just want to watch a live webinar, they're always free. You can do that too. But the one on the reading and writing workshops is a big one, and that's happening on Saturday, June 30th. At 9:30 a.m. The Read Aloud one is this Wednesday night, so I'm excited if you want to just check them out. There's no pressure. You just show up and you get some great tips and get to hang out with teachers from all over the world. How cool is that? The internet these days, like that we can hang out with teachers from everywhere. It's amazing. Priscilla said, I'm so excited. Lifetime membership is the best. Yay, Priscilla. I don't think you have missed a live this year. I swear you are a rock star. There's so many teachers that just keep coming back for more, and I love it. If you want more during the day, you can always go into the video section of my Facebook page. There's the first summer I did all the videos, and then last summer was our second annual summer series. You can binge watch all of those if you want. They're there still. But definitely keep coming back for more. I love it. Rebecca said, this is exciting. I'll definitely be checking in tomorrow. Awesome. Okay, guys, I am going to sign off, and I hope you all have amazing rest of your night. I'll be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central to talk about how I launched the Reader's Notebook. And if you caught the tail end of this just now, just watch the replay and you'll get to see inside a Reader's Notebook. Thanks, guys. I wish you the best of luck. Hi, Christy. Love you. Bye, guys.